Welcome back everyone to this official Rhodium FX how-to series. This is the second video in our series. In this video we'll be talking about how to customize your charts, colors and the way it looks. In the previous video we just spoke about sort of everything, how to navigate the charts or how to navigate the official Rhodium FX match trader platform. So if you guys have not yet checked it out, make sure to go do so if you are new to the match trader platform. But if you have already done that, you will now learn how to customize your charts, and this is the video we'll be talking about how to do that. So when you load up your Rhodium FX account for the first time, this is sort of what you'll be seeing. You'll be greeted with this platform right over here. This is the way it's going to be looking. So let's go ahead and customize it to the way that I want to see my charts. Now, first of all, I don't like the volume and the line and the grid line, so we're going to remove all that. We'll change the colors and everything. Now, everything you need to do to customize your charts, the colors and everything, will be done via this chart setting icon right over here, the little gear icon on the top right hand side of your screen. So let's click on that so you guys can see here all the options. I don't like the grid, like I said. I don't use volumes. I'm going to leave the drawing tutorial there. It doesn't bother me. It also doesn't hurt, so I'm just going to leave it there. I always want to see our ask line. For me, I think it's very important to always be aware of how big the spread is at any given moment. So when I do take a sell, for example, I can have the spread into account, or when I set my stop loss, I can have that into account, or take profit on a buy position or anything like that. I'll make sure to, be able to see my spread. Pending orders, I want to leave that up as well. This will be your buy stops, buy limits, sell limits. Open positions, I always want to see. Personally, if you have a position open, I kind of want to see where the entry is, where the stop loss is, where the take profit is. So these are the only two I'm going to be removing. Color-wise, so I actually like the colors, but let's go ahead and customize it to something a bit different, just so you guys can see how it all works. So for the background, I'm going to head over and change it to a white background. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm not going to change the grid. Obviously, we don't have a grid at the moment, but if you guys do have a grid, you can change to whatever color you want. Time scale, this is the time scale and the price scale here on the right hand side, and time scale obviously at the bottom side of the charts. Now I want to change them to white as well, just to make them a little bit more easier to see. So I'm going to go ahead and change that. Crosshairs, this is the crosshair you guys are currently seeing right over here. So I'm going to actually change this one to black because it's going to be visible on the chart. So I want to see it a little bit better. So if you guys see, if we change it to white, you can't really see the crosshair at all. So I'm going to change it, like I said, all the way to black, and the writing stays the same white color. The bid line and the ask line. So I'm going to have to zoom in for this one. We've got really tight spreads at Rhodium FX. So I'm actually going to just have to quickly go to the 1 minute time frame so we can actually see the spread over here. So just a quick information, the bid price and the ask price is your spread. The bid price is the real market price, and the ask price is sort of where the buyers are willing to, where you can enter the market as a buy, right? So I'm going to go ahead now and go back to the gear icon and change that. Now, obviously, when I take a buy, my entrance is going to be at the ask line. So I'm going to change that to green. When I take a sell, my entrance is going to be at the bid price. So I'm going to change that to red. So bid price will change to a nice, easy to see red color. And then I'm going to change my ask line to sort of a lime green color, just so it's a little bit better on the screen. Let's make it a little bit darker, actually, because it's quite hard to see on the white screen. So change a little bit color to dark. Can change the opacity of it as well, so it makes it a bit easier to see. Okay, and then obviously the candle, there's an open position, so this is a buy position. I can change that to red, sell position green, red as well, open position green, and we can do the pending orders the same colors. I'm actually going to leave them at red and green. I actually like that. I think it's a really cool idea. Draft pending orders, I'm going to leave it yellow. Take profit, I'm actually going to leave at green as well. Stop loss, I'm going to leave it red because I think it's, kind of makes sense. 0% reference line, I don't really use this. Candle bodies. Now, if you want to change your candle bodies, I like the red and the green, green for the upside, red for the downside. So I'm actually going to leave that, but we want to change the wicks. It's a little bit difficult to see the green wick on our chart. So I'm going to change the candle the candle outlines and the candle wicks. So I'm actually going to change that to black so you can now see it's a little bit easier to see those candles. And then we're going to do the same thing with the red candles as well. Change that to black. You know, this is a very classic look on charts. Line charts, I actually am just going to change it onto black so we can identify where the line chart is. You know, if the chart is neutral, for example, sometimes it's a little bit hard to see. You can kind of see there's a bit of a green color there. So we do know it was slightly bullish on that candle. And if it's completely black, then we know there was no buy. So you can see slightly red, so obviously a bit more bearish on that candle. So it is a little bit handy. So that's pretty much it. It's pretty simple to set up your charts with Rhodium FX. You know, not very complicated. Doesn't overcomplicate things. The one thing that I want to also not have is I don't like to always have this crosshair, so it's pretty easy to do. I'm gonna go ahead and just remove that crosshair, so now it's simple. Now the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys how to add indicators to the chart. So indicators, you know, if you do trade with them, they are pretty useful for traders. I sometimes use a moving average in my trading as well. And the best way to add an indicator is you see this little FX button right here on the top right hand side. If we see where we initially had the gear icon, we move a little bit to the left, and there is our indicator button. So click on that, and I can add an indicator, any sort of indicator I want. Again, like I said, I like to have a moving average. So I'm just going to click on that. Let's do actually a simple moving average. Simple moving average right there. I'm going to click on that, continue. And we can see now the simple moving average has been added. I can choose which period I want it to be on. I like the 8 simple moving average. I like it to be on close. You can always move it to low, high, or open. You know, there is a sort of Bollinger Band we can talk about in a while. I'll talk about, you know, one of my other videos that I'm going to be making. I'll do a whole series on indicators that can be used for Elliott Wave. But for now, we'll just stick to this. So right now, I can want to make it a little bit thicker. I like the color, but if you guys want to change to any color, you can do so. Maybe we'll make it a little bit more darker, just so it's easier for us to see. And then we can click on add indicator, and then just close the window. And our indicator is now added. So that's pretty simple. Obviously, there are a bunch of other indicators we can add to this chart as well. You can zoom in and zoom out on the chart with the magnifying glass icons up over here, or you can just simply scroll in the chart, scroll up and down your scroll wheel. If you don't have a scroll button, you can obviously click that, or you can click and drag across here on your time scale or your price scale. You can also adjust the height and the width of the candles. That's sort of what you see on the chart. But for me, it's just easy to scroll on my mouse. And then if I want to add any drawings, I can have a couple of options here. I've got a ruler similar to TradingView. I can see what sort of movement the market's going to give me. If I want to set up sort of a trade, let's say to the downside, I want to see, okay, where can I put my stop loss? So I'm going to say, let's say I want to put my stop loss above this moving average. I can see, okay, this is going to be a 445 point or roughly about 54 pip move. So I can now calculate my risk accordingly to that. And then similarly, I can do for my take profit. I can kind of see, how far my take profit will be. If this trade is going to be worth the risk reward ratio, for example, if you do have a 1-to-2 or a 3-to-1 R&R. And then we have our lines. We've got vertical lines, horizontal lines, trend lines, rays, polylines, parallel channels is sometimes something I like to use as well. They can be added to the chart as well. Kind of nice. And then we have a Fibonacci over here as well, if you guys do like to trade with Fibonacci. And then we also have just a regular drawing tools, your brush, your highlighter, arrows. Rectangles is a very common one. Obviously, we can add rectangles for your support/resistance zones, also by clicking on this drawing tool pencil. If you want to add any texting like labeling, and then we also have our patterns here. So we've got head and shoulders, triangles, A, B, C, D patterns, and all those other patterns. We've got Elliott Wave, which is very nice. So I will definitely be doing a full series on Elliott Wave as well, if it's not already up. But keep an eye out for that on the YouTube channel as well. But guys, that is it. That is how you customize your charts on Rhodium FX. Very nice, plain and simple. You can see now if I switch between any of my other charts, it is now set up for me, right? Obviously mine are the indicator, but everything else is nicely set up for you. The colors and everything has been done. So hopefully that helps, guys. If in the next video, we'll talk about actually physically taking a trade on the platform. How do I open a trade, manage a trade, change my lot sizes if needed? that's going to be all in the next video. So make sure to click subscribe and that bell icon to get notifications of whenever we release new videos. But thank you very much, guys, for watching. As always, stay tuned and trade safe.